Hi everyone, welcome back to my AP Calculus class. I start gonna review pre-calculus part, especially for all function part, because these all functions can be used for the AP Calculus next semester. As coming for semester, you maybe start from most of the teachers start from limit and then keep going to derivative and the application derivatives. But most of the teachers they don't review pre-calculus stuff. But during summer, you need to review all pre-calculus stuff. It is not all just about functions you need to know for the AP Calculus next year. Let's just start number one. I just sort of practice exercises only. Number one, fx equals x cubed minus 2x minus 1. Then what is f of negative 2 is an easy problem, right? Because f of negative 2 means y value when x equals negative 2. So plug in negative 2 for x. Negative 2 cubed minus negative 2 times negative 2 minus 1. Negative 2 to the third power, it is negative 8. And then negative times negative positive 4. And minus 1, you choose negative 5, which is the answer, right? It was an easy question. Answer is C. Okay, let's go to number 2. Number 2 is finding domain of fx. That the fx is given like fraction form. We call that rational function, right? To find the domain of a rational function, basically domain of a rational function is all real numbers except zeros of denominators. So try to find the zero of denominator first, and then just your answer is going to be all real numbers except those zeros, okay? But what is the denominator of this function? X squared plus 1. That part is denominator, right? So all real number except 0 of this denominator, but it cannot be 0. Why? X squared is always greater than or equal to 0, and then plus 1. That must be greater than or equal to 1 at least, right? So it cannot be 0 at all. So you cannot find any zeros of denominator, which means all real number is the domain of this function. So E is the answer. Number 3 is finding domain again of gx, and that gx is basically rational function form but including radical function. So to find this type of functions domain, we have to consider two things, radical part and rational part. For the rational part, I just explained how to find the rational functions domain, that basically all real numbers except zeros of denominator. So I'm going to find the zeros of denominator first. So what is factored form? X times x minus 1 is equal to 0. So from each factor, find 0. That means x equals 0 and x equals 1. 0 and 1. So all real numbers except x equals 0 and x equals 1. That means x is not 0 or 1. That's the domain of rational function. What about radical part? The numerator has a radical, right? Square root of x minus 2. To find the domain of radical function, just find the x interval to make that inside the radical is greater than or equal to 0. What is inside the radical? X minus 2 is inside the radical, right? That supposed to be greater than or equal to 0. Because the negative number makes imaginary number inside the radical, right? So x is greater than or equal to 2. So what is the final answer? Combine those two things. X should be greater than or equal to 2, and x cannot be 0 or 1. 0 and 1, those two numbers are not greater than or equal to 2. So they automatically accepted, right? So combine those two, the final answer is what? X is greater than or equal to 2. That's the answer. So D is the answer. You got it? All right. Number 4 is about composition function. Okay, f of g of x or g of f of x. It asks you now g of f of x. Another expression is golf, right? G composition f of x, same thing, right? Okay, to find the golf, you're going to use what? G of f of x. To find the fog, you have to use f of g of x. So I'm going to use what? G of f of x, which means I'm going to use fx whole things for x of gx. One more time. G of f of x means what? Plug in fx, that whole things, for x of gx. But gx has no x. Gx equals just 2. If g of x is equal to 2x, your answer is 2 times whole fx, x cubed minus 3x squared minus 2x plus 5. And then do distributive property for that, right? But unfortunately, gx has no x. Gx is just 2. That means you cannot plug in anything for x, right? Because it has no x. So still 2. So 2 is the answer. Let's go to number 5. Which the functions and choices in question 4, the f of g of x. That means that you can use the same function, right? You can use same function fx and gx of number 4, question 4. So you can ask you, what is g of f of gx, right? F of gx. So f of gx, plug in gx for x of fx, but gx is 2, that means f of 2. Because gx equals 2, right? So f of 2 means what? Plug in 2 for x of fx, 2 cubed, 3 times 2 squared, 2 times minus 2 times 2, plus 5. So 8 minus 12 minus 4 plus 5. 13 minus 16, which is negative 3. So that is negative 3. That's the answer. It's not hard at all. Let's go to number 6. fx equals x cubed plus ax squared plus bx minus 3. The f of 1 is 4. F of negative 1 equals 6. And then find the 2a plus 1. F of 1 is equal to 4. What does it mean? When x equals to 1, y must be 4. So f of 1 means plug in 1 for x, right? 1 cubed, 8 times 1 squared, plus b times 1 minus 3. That must be 4. Okay, just to simplify this. So 1 cube is 1 plus a plus b. Okay, so a plus b. Then 1 minus 3 is negative 2. That equals to 4, which means a plus b equals 6. Okay. And one more information is given for us. That is, f of negative 1 is negative 6. So f of negative 1, plug in negative 1 whole things cubed. A times negative 1 squared plus b times negative 1 minus 6, 3 should be negative 6. So it is a minus b, and then negative 4 minus 4 equals negative 6. So a minus b equals negative 2. We got second equation. From these two equations, find a and b. I'm going to add those two equations. A plus a is 2a. b and negative b cross out. Then 6 plus negative 2 is 4, which means a equals 2. And then plug in 2 for a, and then b is 4, right? That means b equals 4. A is 2, b is 4. But final goal is to find the value of 2a plus b. 2 times 2 plus 4, which is 8. So b is the answer. Just b is the answer. I just start today exercise problems for preview with AP Calculus, kind of pre-knowledge, right? It is all about functions that you have to know before you start AP Calculus. So during summer, I'm gonna teach some this pre-calculus function part, and then maybe I can start the limit part as well. Okay, I go just a little faster than your school. Okay, thank you so much for watching my video, and click subscribe and like, turn on the notification, please. Thank you again. Bye-bye.